From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Very good this week. We got the East Carolina going against Cincinnati. Cincinnati 6-0 going into this game. ECU is 1-5. ECU has been able to cover in 2 games this season, but Cincinnati's literally covered in each game they played in this year. They're actually 4 out of 6 this year, and they've actually taken care of their business in conference play, and they're actually becoming a better team by the week and dominating teams as well too. But the thing is, though, I'm gonna lay off the long spread in this game of 27 and a half, something of that nature. It's a long spread. I feel like the over 56 and a half, though, that will happen, that can happen, and should happen. This should be the Cincinnati game where they really open up the playbook and get themselves a very, very thorough victory. But you know what? Eastern Carolina has came to surprise, and also South Florida. All these bottom teams in the AAC will shock you in some of these games, but I don't think that's going to happen against a very disciplined team in Cincinnati. So we move forward, and we got Houston, and Houston's in a very good matchup this week as well too. I think that Houston finds themselves in a position where they don't want to be like how Memphis was last week and get caught slipping early. So they're going to jump on South Florida as early as possible. And I feel bad because even somebody had to come get at me and was like, oh, I thought you said it was going to be by halftime Memphis covered. You know what? I can't control what they're going to do in these games, man. All I can do is try to see this crystal ball and hope that they go ahead and get that part of it done, because we've done the homework. We did all the numbers. And if the team don't show up, the team didn't show up. It is what it is. Move on to the next game. But, that was kind of disappointed. But this week, we're going to make up for that. And Houston's going to go ahead and cover this spread for us. So I'm taking them with the minus 13.5. Let's see how it shakes out. Now we have Navy. Navy has themselves a pretty good game. Navy has been a better team at home than they have been on the road. Pretty much, Navy's going to come into this one, and they're going to fight. They're going to shorten the clock. They're going to make Memphis work a bit in this game, and they're going to wind up covering this game, only losing by about 10 points, in my opinion. But, it's the AAC, so anything can happen. So there it is, Navy. Memphis plus 12.5 on Navy. SMU has themselves a pretty good matchup this week. They're going against Tulsa. Tulsa is kind of like a hot shot team in the conference this year. But you know what? After the Eastern Carolina game, I really don't believe in this team like that anymore. I think that this team still has a lot of flaws. They had a pretty good couple early weeks, but they're now getting into the meat of their schedule. So pretty much this is going to be a game where SMU has a monster bounce back, because they're still reeling from that big loss against Cincinnati a few weeks back, and they need themselves another big win here in the conference to just get the confidence back. And I think that this will be the game. I think that they're not taking them as seriously as they should. SMU should step up and win this game by 3 or better, in my opinion. So I'm taking SMU on the money line, the straight up winner, and let's see if they can go ahead and get this money. All right, so pretty much we have ourselves a doozy here with Temple and UCF, and this is another big spread game. You got a 23.5 point dog in Temple, but Temple's tough to trust right now. They either can get a lot of points scored on them and score some points, or they can just go ahead and just lay down. I don't know what the case is going to be come Saturday, but I do feel like this game will go under the 75.5, and I think it will probably be a little one-sided towards UCF in this competition as well, too, because the game is in Orlando as well, because that's exactly where Central Florida is at. So pretty much I'm going to rock with the under 75.5. Let's go ahead and see how it shakes out. All right, so we move on and we have ourselves the Conference USA list, the Covet Conference, because literally these schools have to at least postpone 3 games a week now. Like, geez, Louise, why are we even why did you guys even come back if the whole league gonna have this, man? Seriously. So we have the big battle of Florida with Florida Atlantic and Florida International. Florida Atlantic has been the dominant party in this rivalry over the last 5 years or so. But I truly do think, though, what happens here is that we'll have a Florida International team that comes out and covers this year. Even though they're having an atrocious season this year, this is a big rivalry game, so they should show up for it and they should show out for it. And let's go ahead and see if they can lose by a touchdown or less, or possibly get themselves a big upset as well too. But it really wouldn't be an upset because you have an FAU team that does not score that many points. As you guys can see, they had a 7-10 game last week, so it is what it is. And then we have the over 45 UTEP. UTSA, this should be a good one as well too. Both these teams are very, very much the same. UTEP is a team that's kind of on the rise this year. San Antonio is actually playing much better than expected as well too. So I feel like that's going to clash a bit, and this will wind up being over 45. Both teams will figure out how to score and go from there. And then we have Middle Tennessee State. This is going to be a good game as well too. I feel like they're giving Marshall way too much love, and they're actually gassing them up a bit too hard. I know Marshall is very good, but once again, this is the Conference USA, and they're not that far apart in talent in this conference. It really comes down to coaching when it's all said and done. So I think at the end of the day, this will wind up being a plus 23.5. I think Middle Tennessee State will be ready for this game, and they'll wind up covering in this game as well too. And then we have ourselves the UAB North Texas game. I think UAB is going to actually run all over North Texas in this spot. I know North Texas is a very good team, and they have they have themselves a lot of really good players, but at the end of the day, though, man, I still just feel like UAB is just going to be able to dominate North Texas in this spot. I think they beat them by 17 or better here, or 14 or better. And even if you have to kind of spend some extra money, do so you don't have to get caught up in the push, okay? So 13.5 on the University of Alabama in Birmingham. Then we got Louisiana Tech going against Rice. As I said before, Rice is a team that is kind of fresh, so it's going to be one or the other. Either they're going to come out very, very strong, or they're going to come out very, very flat. And I'm talking about Rice. Louisiana Tech, I feel like this is a spot where they kind of relish a bit because they've been playing against the tougher teams in the conference the last few weeks. And this team is kind of middling or below average in a sense still. Even though they did get a good win over Southern Mississippi been getting beat by everybody this year. So Louisiana Tech minus 115. Let's see how it shakes out. Then we got Southern Mississippi. And Southern Mississippi has themselves a really good game against Western Kentucky this week. And I think this one will wind up being a good upset where a lot of people are going to probably go crazy on Western Kentucky when they see the number and see that it's a -5 and all that good stuff and be like, oh, we can beat them by a touchdown. But there's always, to me, that's always a trap. And I felt like that as soon as I saw the line, I felt like this could have been a pick'em game or a 2.5, at least to Western Kentucky or to Southern Mississippi. Nah, they said -5 Western Kentucky at home, a team that's actually struggled pretty much all season. But Southern Mississippi has had its woes as well too. But at the end of the day, I truly do think that Southern Mississippi is going to be the better team here. So I'm taking them with the plus 180 today, and let's see how it shakes out. And that's going to be the CSU, that's going to be the Conference USA bets list coming up for this weekend, all right? And you guys have to be ready that these games can be postponed or canceled because this conference is not all the way 100% healthy, okay? So we move forward and we have some games here. CU is quietly killing it a bit here in conference play, and they're doing a damn good job of it as well too. And I really do like TCU going into this game. TCU has got some really good wins this season, and I just don't trust West Virginia that much. I think that what happens here is that they slip up in this game, and TCU actually goes ahead and gets a big win here. So I'm taking TCU with the plus 135. Let's see how it shakes out. And then we also have Texas Tech. Texas Tech is playing in a game against Baylor. Baylor is hard to trust. Baylor right now is 1-4 overall in conference play. So, Baylor's not playing good football at all this year. And they kept it close last week with Iowa State. That was funny. You know what I mean? Because I thought that game was actually not going to go that way. I thought that it was mainly going to be a dominant effort by Iowa State, but what happened was that Baylor showed up, and hey, you know what? There's nothing you can do about it when a team shows up. You just got to deal with it. But this week, though, Texas Tech absolutely rolls over Baylor. They're at home as well, too, so I like Texas Tech minus 120. Big 12 bets list. We only got 2 games Saturday in this conference, and there it is. Okay, so these are pending as well, too. We never know if the cover is going to strike, things of that nature, and then they got to cancel the game, blah, 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 blah. All right, so we move on, and we got ourselves the Mountain West, and up first is the Thursday night game, and Boise State has a good one against Colorado State. Colorado State is a middling team in the conference. They've done well over the first few weeks. They got a bad loss to Fresno, but they bounced back last week and got a very good win over Wyoming. So my thing is here, I'm going to go ahead and take Boise State in this spot, though, because Boise State, once again, is the home team. They're coming off a really bad loss against BYU where they got absolutely thrown through the crab table, dude. Like, seriously, that looked like the Dudley Boys style, the way that they got done by BYU, bro. So I'm telling you right now, I think that Boise State's going to be very pissed off going into this game, and they'll figure out a way to go ahead and cover this game by 2 touchdowns. Hopefully, they'll get the starting quarterback in, or at least the backup back in, or at least a feasible damn quarterback to get the ball down the field and score some points. So we'll see how it goes. 13.5 to Boise State. Let's see how it shakes out. Then we got the Fresno State, Utah State game. This one right here kind of irks me a little bit because you know that you got 2 really young teams out here, but Fresno State should be much better. But you know what? Utah State has had 2 really ugly games to start the year, but they improved last week as well, too, compared to the way that they played week 1. So they're going against a team that's not as good as a Boise State and not as good as Nevada was coming into that game. So they get a home game finally, and I think what happens here is that they're going to challenge Fresno a little bit, and they're going to keep this game up under 55 here. But pretty much this is a game where Fresno State can get their pickings on, get their offense moving and going in the right direction. But I still think, though, at the end of the day, this game stays under 55, and I think it's going to be much closer than it looks on paper. So there it is, under 55, Fresno State, Utah State. Then we got Hawaii and San Diego State. This is always a fun game, and this time it's going to be played in San Diego this year. So pretty much Hawaii, I do love you in this spot. But I think what happens here is that the game goes over, and I know everybody's like, how the hell is the game going to go over when you got a San Diego State team that can barely get like 24 points a game? Well, in this game, they're going to score a bit because Hawaii doesn't have the greatest defense, and I would say that the coach needs to open up the playbook a little bit more, which he's probably going to do after losing last week to a San Jose State. They lost to San Jose State, but you know what? We did see it coming, though. We did see it coming. So pretty much I'm going to go ahead and take the over 53 with the Hawaii-San Diego State game, and we go from there. And then we got New Mexico, plus 17. New Mexico is a big dog at home, and they are a big dog to a team that they should not be this big of a dog to. This is a game that they actually could steal, but you know what? New Mexico does have their issues, and I think that taking plus 17 is going to be a better choice here. It's going to be something that will probably work out a much, much better for us. So hopefully they only get beat by 2 touchdowns or by 10, or they pull off the monster upset. Regardless of anything, we got New Mexico Saturday plus 17. And then we got the over 59 in the UNLV San Jose State game. To me, this is going to be the San Jose State offensive coming out party in a sense. They went nuts in the second half last week, and I think that they're going to take that momentum into tonight's game and figure out how to get a big win here against this UNLV team. But I think the over is the stronger bet here because anything can happen in this game. And don't sleep on UNLV because this is a game that they look forward to as well, too, playing against a team like San Jose State. San Jose State's playing very well right now because the coaching is very good at this moment. So pretty much we'll see how it goes. But over 59, UNLV, San Jose State, let's see how it shakes out. We move forward. It's time for the MAC Pick 3. So here we are. ACC bets list, man. This is going to be a good one today. A good one. We got Miami playing Friday, and I got Miami with the plus 105 this week. I think that Miami is going to be good enough to win this game right here. I know it looks like that they're going to probably be in a shaky situation here against Virginia Tech, but Virginia Tech's not good to me. They're good, but they don't play well against the good teams. And, Virginia Tech, I know a lot of people are going to be thinking, well, they just lost to Liberty, so they're going to probably be pretty pissed off. Liberty was undefeated, and Liberty has this mojo going this season where it's really easy and hard. It's really easy for them to be in games, and they played a lot of games this season as well too. I don't think they've missed a week in college football this year. They're 7-0. Everybody else has played 5 or 6 games. So pretty much, Liberty's just is on it. That's it and that's all. But I don't think that's gonna weigh into this game right here. I think Miami has a star quarterback that can lead them to where they need to be. De'Aaron King is a beast for them right now. And, he's a little short guy, but the dude can put some air up under that ball as well, too. He threw a pass last week that, they throw him on Sundays like that, too. It's just, you wish that guy would get 6 inches taller. But I like Miami in this game, plus 105. Let's see how it shakes out. This game right here, UNC went over in each of their home games this season, and they dropped at least 49 a game at home as well, too. So I'm betting on that trend right there that UNC continues their hot streak at home. They don't play well on the road, but they play well at home, and I think that they'll be able to beat the old arch rival Wake Forest on Saturday as well too. But I think the over is the safer play here, so over 66.5. Let's see how it shakes out. Now we got the Boston College game, and Notre Dame. I love me some Notre Dame, and I know you guys are thinking to yourself, why ain't you betting them this week? They took care of us last week, money line, plus 5 premiums, all that good stuff. Well, because they're playing against Boston College, and this is seen as a letdown game in a sense. The same story I told you guys about Florida State and Notre Dame last week about how, Florida State was the dominant monster team coming in there from the ACC, and it was called the game of the century, 1 versus 2, blah, 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 blah. Well, the next week, Notre Dame played against Tom Coughlin-led Boston College Eagles, and they lost by a field goal in the end and weren't able to play in the national championship because of that. Florida State, regardless of losing the game, still won the national championship that year. The irony of the situation, right? So this one is a game where BC can sneak up on Notre Dame. I don't know if they'll beat Notre Dame, but I think what happens here is that we get a good cover because we're going to have ourselves a good game. I think BC loses the game by 10 or less, and let's see how it shakes out, but that's how I'm feeling in that spot. And then we have the Louisville-Virginia game. This one, I feel like what's going to happen here, Louisville is going to kind of lay an egg a little bit on offense, and Virginia might do the same. It's going to become a defensive game because Louisville showed me a few weeks back that they can't get into one of these matchups where they don't score a lot of points, and that happened in the Notre Dame game. I think that this is going to be a duplicate of that game, maybe a little bit better for Louisville, but I think the game stays under 66.5. I think it's way too many points for both these teams. I think they're going to be locking it up defensively and shortening the clock with long drives as well too. So there it is, under 66.5, Louisville and Virginia. Let's see how it shakes out. And then Georgia Tech is the big dog this week in the conference. Georgia Tech has themselves a game that, I don't know if they're looking at this correctly. Pittsburgh's decent, but Pittsburgh actually has been struggling a lot this season, and they just haven't looked that good, and they really haven't looked that good on the road either. This is the type of game where they're gonna make you overbet Pittsburgh because they're gonna give you an idea that Pittsburgh is gonna be able to dominate a lowly Georgia Tech team. But let's all go trace our steps back to the Louisville game, and that was a game at home, and that was a game that once again was where you had a highly favored team that had no had no point being a favorite like that. At the end of the day, to me, Pittsburgh's not a 6.5 point favorite. They're not a -225. They're literally stealing money from you when you want to make this bet. It's a risk. It's a big risk, and I can't take that risk with a team like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the Georgia Tech money line plus 1.5, and let's see how it shakes out. I like it. I like it a lot. All right, so we move on and we have ourselves the NC State game. NC State's playing against Florida State, and you know what? I can't drop no more dollars on Florida State. Florida State is a disappointing team this season. They've been a disappointing team for the last 3 years, but this year the bottom has truly fallen out with the Florida State Seminoles, and it's just ugly to watch at the end of the day as well too. So, man, I don't care. NC State, you've been good to me all season. You go ahead and blow these guys off the field for us, okay? 2 touchdowns or better. That's all we ask for, and bust that soundtrack out on them, dog. That's all I say. And there it is for the ACC. So pretty much single what you like, fade what you hate, and at the end of the day, we'll all win. So we move on, and we got ourselves the Big Ten, and Ohio State is out of the Big Ten this week because of Maryland had COVID cases. No, Maryland just was like, we don't want to play that damn game. Because you know what? You know what that game was going to be turned into? It was going to turn into Tua's little brother love fest, and they was going to think that Tua's little brother was going to be able to do something to Ohio State. Dude, you're playing against an NFL team, dog, in Ohio State. There's like 4 teams in college football that we all say that they could play in the NFL, but literally they keep drafting damn near 70% of the team into the NFL, so maybe they could play in the NFL. That's Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, and you guys are going to be really surprised when I say this to you, but USC as well too. I know they haven't been winning games, but they got a lot of pro athletes on that roster, dude. And so pretty much, where do we go from here? Big Ten bets list. We got Iowa in a game where they are kind of in the same boat as they're kind of in the same boat here with Minnesota. And Minnesota is a running team. They do well in the running game, but I think Iowa's going to be much better in this spot, and that's why I like Iowa a lot to go ahead and take care of their business here. That's why I'm taking the 3.5 here as well too. You can take money line -170, but I do really feel like the 3.5 is good enough, and I think they should win this game by a touchdown or better. Then you got the over 56.5, Penn State, Nebraska. Both these teams are actually winless right now, and I know a lot of people are going to be all over Penn State, but why? Penn State has really has been burning up money for you the last 3 weeks. They're really right now bet against, in my opinion. But I think though at the end of the day, once you start to get to that thinking, that's when you might mess yourself up. But you know what? Risk and reward. You know what I mean? But I think at the end of the day, just watch the scoreboard in the spot. You got a struggling Penn State team. You got a struggling Nebraska team. You don't know what's going to happen, but you can't expect a lot of points coming from each side because right now they had a bottom out point. Defense is going to be out there like, do I really care? All right, so we move on. We got Michigan State. Michigan State's in a weird matchup this week. Michigan State's a home dog against Indiana of all teams. Indiana has stepped it up this season. Indiana is undefeated. They're playing great football. I'm not taking anything away from them with that. But this is a letdown game, and we all should know that. Pretty much Michigan State's going to come into this one. They're going to not take them seriously, and Michigan State's going to wind up making this a game. Or Michigan State could probably run away with this one as well, too. I don't know. But the thing is, though, +7 on Michigan State looks really good to me. I think this game finishes within 3-4 points. Or you can have Michigan State go ahead and get some momentum, get a big run going in at one point of the game, and then cut the lights out on defense. But it's gonna take some time with with this Michigan State team because it's real different with a guy like Mel Tucker being your head coach. D'Antonio was a hell of a coach, and it really sucks to see that he had to step off because of players. But it is what it is. You got to keep those players in check. Then you got Illinois plus 220. I like this a lot as well, too. I think that this one will be the one that's going to be our big dog of the week. So they are going to be my dog of the week. Once again, Illinois is in a game against Rutgers. Yeah, Rutgers looked good against Michigan State the first week of the season. They looked decent against Ohio State, even though Ohio State ran them off the field. But the reason why I'm taking Illinois in this spot, because this is going to be the biggest over bet on Rutgers in years. And I think what's going to happen here is going to be a letdown in this spot because, Illinois has played some pretty good football over the last few weeks, exception of week one in conference play. I think that they will be able to take care of us. They owe us too, man, for the Purdue game. So plus 220 on Illinois. Let's go ahead and see how it shakes out. Then Northwestern. This is probably the most slept on team in the Big Ten. I think Northwestern is going to actually have themselves a game come Saturday. I think they're going to have themselves one of those standout games Saturday. So Northwestern with the 2.5. Eat it up, eat it up, eat it up. I'm telling you, it's gonna be it should be a worthy ticket. Then you have I have the under 54 with Wisconsin and Michigan. This game is really a throwaway game in my opinion. Michigan's not Michigan anymore, and Wisconsin is really just kind of cruising. But at the end of the day, I think Wisconsin probably will win the game, but I don't know if they'll cover. That's why I'm taking the under 54 here in this spot. But Michigan right now is a wounded dog, and you know what? That's the one thing you don't sleep on in college football is the wounded dog. And I'm telling you, it's going to be a good game Saturday between the Badgers and the Wolverines. So there it is, Big Ten bets list, and we move forward. Pac-12, there it is. We got Arizona, and do not get fooled by USC this week. USC has been in quarantine for the last 3 days. They had a player with COVID. They are not prepared for this game. Okay, and they weren't prepared for the game last week either. So I can't roll with the team that's not going to be prepared. I don't care how bad they think Arizona is. Arizona, you know what? They ran into a very, very bad. They ran into a situation where it was gonna go the way it went. So pretty much, actually they didn't even play last week. I'm sorry, because then Utah had to bow out because the COVID or whatever. So pretty much, I think. At the end of the day, Arizona goes ahead and covers in this spot. It shouldn't be an issue here. Arizona, get us some money, dog. That's what we asked for. Arizona plus 14. Let's see how it shakes out. Then we got Colorado plus 7 going against Stanford. Stanford got worked to me last week, but this week they it looks like it should be a bounce back. But once again, this is gonna be a over bet. This is gonna be somewhere where they're gonna be like, okay, let's go ahead and jump all over Stanford. Stanford didn't look good last week, so pretty much Colorado, they figured out ways to score. They see that they got some more playmakers out on that team as well too. So why not? Let's go ahead and take the over 58. I mean the plus 7 with Colorado. Let's see how it shakes out. Oregon, Wazoo. Oregon has had its issues with Wazoo when Mike Leach was there, but Mike Leach isn't there anymore. So I think that Oregon's going to be able to get their good foot down, and they're going to be able to get themselves a good groove going in this game. But I do love the over 58 here in this spot. I think that this will be a very hittable play. So let's see how it goes. And over 58, Oregon, Washington State. And I think you got to lean towards Oregon in this game if you're looking for a winner. So pretty much we got UCLA going against Utah hopefully this week. And, that game is still 50-50 to go on because we got to check the COVID situation. But I think UCLA gets a big upset at the empty Rose Bowl this week. And they get themselves a good win, plus 120 for UCLA this week. Because last week they didn't look that bad. It's just that UCLA had mistakes at the wrong time. If they don't have the 3 turnovers, I think that they win the game by 2 touchdowns, to be honest with you. So UCLA plus 120, Chip Kelly, you already know what it is, man. You got to start winning some games or you ain't going to be working at UCLA too much longer. All right, so last but not least, we got the 13.5 on Washington. I think Washington's going to absolutely run away with this game right here. And pretty much it comes down to how bad do you want it, right? But I think Washington is a team that's very focused on getting back to the top of the food chain in the Pac-12. So, Washington, I think that they'll have themselves a good signature win come Saturday. So I'm taking them with the minus 13.5, 2 touchdowns better. All right, so we move on and we have ourselves the SEC, and in the SEC. Kentucky's getting the luck of the draw this week. They're going to get Vanderbilt. It's almost like the lottery when you get Vanderbilt. It's, JV practice and everything like that. So pretty much it is what it is, man. Kentucky, let's go ahead and try to get a three touchdown win here and go from there. So Kentucky, I think this is one of your sharpest spots of the week. And look at that team total first half. Look at that team total full game. And I think that could be a very strong bet for you as well, too, okay? So look at me. I'm giving out other bets to you guys as well, too, that you might want to jump on just in case you don't want to deal with that spread, okay? So minus 17 on Kentucky. Let's see how it goes. All right, now we got the under 60, Arkansas, Florida. This game is going to be much better than it looks on paper. I expect Arkansas to compete in this game as well, too. So Arkansas, Florida, under 60. Let's see how it shakes out, and we move forward. And this is the biggest dog of the week. I think that South Carolina walks into Oxford, Mississippi, and they beat Lane Kiffin and the Ole Miss Rebels this weekend. I know a lot of people are probably high on Lane Kiffin after a very close game against Alabama. Big, huge win. A big win that they got earlier on in the season by, pretty much, hanging tough. And, they got a big blowout over Vanderbilt as well, too. But I think, though, this game right here is, once again, there's a lot of letdown situations this weekend. And I think this is another letdown spot. And you have to understand, both these teams are 2-4. Why would you go ahead and rock with a team that's, why would you take a minus 11 on a team that's 2-4 against another team that's 2-4? Think about it. Think about it, some more. Give me South Carolina plus 310. Let's see how it shakes out. All right, so let's go ahead and tonight. Thank you for tuning into the Primetime Angles, the premier sports betting show, hosted by the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. This is a Prime Wave Media production, and go ahead and press that subscribe button.